There are moments when your brain feels slow, foggy, like the words are just out of reach. And when that happens, many women quietly panic. They wonder, am I losing my mind? Am I getting old? Why can't I think like I used to? But what if brain fog isn't a failure? What if it's a signal? What if your brain isn't breaking down, but asking for something it hasn't been given yet? In January, especially after the holidays, after emotional depletion, after hormonal shifts, many women notice their thinking feels heavier. Not because they're incapable, not because they're carrying too much. Today, we're going to talk about menopausal brain fog, not as something to fear, but as something to understand.
The sun climbs slow, the moon falls shy.
If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sheila Hall, and I'm a functional medicine health coach, holistic therapist, and educator focused on menopause, nervous system healing, and women's hormonal health. But more than that, I'm a woman who had to learn how to listen to her body the hard way. This podcast exists so fewer women have to learn through confusion, dismissal, or silence. I'm really glad you're here. When women say brain fog, they're usually describing things like forgetting words mid-sentence, trouble concentrating, feeling mentally slower, losing their train of thought, difficulty multitasking, needing more time to process. And the most damaging part isn't the symptom itself. It's the story behind women who tell themselves they think, I'm used to being sharp. I used to be on top of everything. What's wrong with me? So let me say this clearly. Brain fog is not a measure of intelligence. It's not a character flaw. And it's not a sign that you're falling at midlife. Estrogen plays a major role in brain health. It supports the neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, blood flow to the brain, memory and verbal recall, and mood stability. During menopause and perimenopause, estrogen fluctuates and eventually declines. That affects how the brain communicates. So what women experience as fog is often slower neurotransmitter signaling, increased inflammation, sleep disruption, emotional overload. Your brain is working harder with fewer resources. That's not failure. That's philosophy. Now let's talk about the part that almost never gets discussed. Grief. Grief doesn't just live in the heart. It lives in the brain. When you're grieving loss of fertility, loss of identity, loss of energy, loss of certainty, loss of who you thought you'd be, your brain is doing emotional labor all the time. That emotional labor consumes cognitive bandwidth. So of course, focus drops. And of course, memory suffers. And of course, thinking feels heavier. Grief exhausts brains. And many women don't even realize that grief is what they're carrying. They just think they're not themselves anymore. Here's something important. The brain cannot prioritize clarity when the nervous system feels unsafe. Let me say that again. The brain cannot prioritize clarity when the nervous system feels unsafe. When your body is in fight, flight, freeze, or chronic stress, Your brain shifts into survival mode. Survival brains don't focus on creativity, memory, or clarity. They focus on, am I safe? What's the threat? How do I get through today? So pushing harder doesn't fix brain health, brain fog. Regulation does. So, let's pause for a moment here. If it feels okay, place one hand on your chest. Take a slow breath in through your nose. And then take a long breath out through your mouth. And I want you to say quietly or silently, thank you for being here. Until the next time, take one gentle breath and let your body know it's safe.